What if Mace Windu had survived his duel with Palpatine? Part 2. The jagged silhouette of a Star Destroyer cut across the skies of Alderaan like a blade of judgment. Wind howled through the ancient temple stones as Mace Windu turned to Kirak Infil'a, his eyes hard with resolve. "You won't survive this," Windu warned. "I know," Kirak said, unflinching, "but you and the clone must." Above them, Vader had already begun his descent, his presence pressing down like a planetary gravity well. Infil'a stood alone at the temple entrance, lightsaber humming, and for a moment there was silence. Then the storm arrived. Vader landed like a meteor, armor black and humming with raw fury. The duel was not a contest, it was a lesson in power. Kirak Infil'a, a master of the lightsaber form and a veteran of the Jedi Order, fought valiantly. His blows were precise, his movements rooted in purpose. But Vader was no Jedi. He was rage incarnate. Each clash pushed Infil'a backward. Each parry became more desperate. A final strike. Vader's blade sheared through the Jedi's defenses, and with a brutal twist, the last breath of Kirak Infil'a was extinguished. Another ember of the Jedi extinguished in silence. But the time bought was enough. High above Alderaan's surface, Mace Windu and Varn sprinted toward the hangar. Sirens wailed across the compound as lockdown protocols tightened around them. TIE fighters swarmed like hornets. Varn's gunmetal armor clanked against the durasteel ramp of his hidden freighter. "We've got seconds, Master Jedi." "I'll fly," Mace said, climbing into the pilot's seat. He extended his hand toward the yoke. His right arm, maimed by Sith lightning, barely twitched, but the force surged in his left. With sheer will, he brought the ship online. The hangar doors began to close. Turbolaser fire rocked the landing platform as Mace lifted the vessel from the ground, squeezing the ship through the narrowing gate. Fighters were already in pursuit. "Shields?" Windu asked. "Flickering," Varn shouted from the gunner's seat. "Let's make it count." The gunner controls lit up and Varn's reflexes kicked in. Twin laser cannons sprayed fire across the void, striking two interceptors that veered too close. But a glancing hit struck their rear stabilizer. Alarms screamed across the cockpit. Mace guided the ship into a spiraling dive, using the force to anticipate each evasive maneuver. His body trembled with pain, but his focus remained absolute. "We need to break orbit. They're closing in. 10 seconds until range. Then we punch through." They burst through the blockade, past looming capital ships and swarms of fighters. One final salvo slammed into the hull. Shields gone. A warning siren wailed. The stars blurred. And then, hyperspace. Silence returned. They drifted for hours through uncharted lanes, wounded and aimless. Windu retreated and meditated in silence, his presence reaching into the void. He felt something. A light in the dark. "Dagobah," whispered Mace. The freighter slipped through the storm-choked clouds of the fetid world. Lightning lanced across the sky. Trees the size of towers loomed in all directions. And there, by a crooked hut, stood Grand Master Yoda. "Master," Mace said, approaching through the rain. "You survived." Yoda opened his eyes slowly. Hiding. Surviving. Not the same, there. "I need your help," Windu said. The Empire is rising. We must strike now. Yoda turned his back. Failed we did. Blind we were. Now, learn. You must. Windu clenched his fists. You want me to meditate while the galaxy burns? Anger boiled beneath his words. But Yoda turned, sad but firm. This, why help you, I cannot. Your anger, alive it is. I am not the same man I was, Windu growled. Yoda nodded. Exactly. The two Jedi stood in silence, the rain hiding Windu's frustration. They left the next morning, unanswered, unresolved. The dense jungles of Kashyyyk loomed beneath their crippled ship as Mace Windu and Varn approached in silence. The once vibrant world now bore the scars of Imperial subjugation. Fire-blackened trees, slave camps, Wookiee resistance crushed beneath stormtrooper boots. But they had come here over the whispers. Rumours that a Jedi hid among the Wookiees. As they landed discreetly among the massive rusher trees, Varn adjusted his pack and turned to Windu. You know, I never told you this, but I can speak Shriwook. Mace raised an eyebrow. Really? Was stationed here for a rotation during the war. Spent months with Tarful's militia. Picked it up fast. A Wookiee growl echoed through the foliage. Weapons raised. Figures emerged. Varn stepped forward, issuing a low, guttural reply. The lead Wookiee froze, then lowered their weapon. Tarful himself emerged from the shadows. A short but intense exchange in Shriwook followed, Varn translating for Windu. They say, he's here, a Jedi. He's been leading raids, freeing slaves, striking the Empire wherever he can. And then, out of the shadows, he appeared, draped in battle-worn leathers, a yellow-bladed lightsaber clipped at his side, eyes wary, yet burning with fire. Quinlan Vos. Vos stared hard at Windu. Didn't expect you to survive. I didn't, Windu replied. Not really. The two Jedi eyed one another in an uneasy alliance. Vos, similar to Mace, had always walked the edge, flirting with the darkness as casually as others walked the temple halls. Except Vos had fallen. But he had survived. He had fought back. So together, they planned. Tarful and the Wookiee freedom fighters coordinated with Vos and Varn, while Windu took to the skies in meditative silence, watching, waiting. The first raid hit a transport. Dozens of enslaved Wookiees freed. Their second target, a labour camp. Imperial walkers turned to scrap by detonators strategically placed by Varn. But it was their third assault, the one that truly fractured the Empire's grip, that drew blood. The 10th brother had arrived. A towering purge trooper turned inquisitor, the 10th brother wielded a double-bladed saber and hunted Jedi like sport. He descended upon the final slave camp as the battle raged, his crimson blade slicing through the Wookiees and resistance fighters alike. Windu faced him, wounded arm and all. He hesitated once, bringing the former Jedi to his knees. But Vos had no such hesitation. He struck down the Inquisitor with no mercy. A flick of rage, a blur of yellow and red. The 10th brother fell. Victory should have been theirs. Kashyyyk should have been liberated. But the stars told another story. 3 Star Destroyers emerged from hyperspace above Kashyyyk. Then came the bombardment. The skies turned red. Forests, millennia old, burned as turbolaser fire rained down. The Empire had chosen annihilation. If they can't have it, Varn muttered, no one can. Windu gave the order. Evacuate, now! Vos coordinated ships from a hidden resistance hangar, Tarful and his warriors guiding refugees into transports, while Varn and Windu cut a path through advancing stormtroopers. The Wookiees fled. The Jedi fled. The planet, Kashyyyk, was left burning in silence, like a funeral pyre. In the icy stillness of space, the survivors regrouped aboard a hidden freighter in deep orbit. The battle had changed them. Mace Windu stood on the deck, watching stars drift past. Behind him, Vos entered quietly. They know we're out here now, the Kefar said. The Empire won't stop. It never does. Windu turned. Then we stop hiding. Vos narrowed his eyes. What are you saying? We fight. Properly. We find the others. Jedi, clones, rebels, anyone left. Vos nodded slowly. Then I'll go underground. Gather intelligence, names, systems ready to rise. Then I'll gather the warriors, Windu said, starting with those who wore the armour. Varn's new mission was surgical and silent. He found his old battalion one by one, sedated them with nerve gas or stun rounds, and removed their chips. Each clone awoke, confused, disorientated, until he explained everything. Some wept, some screamed, all stayed. But one stood out above the rest. His former commander, Commander Wolf. Older, battle-scarred, still wearing his cybernetic eye. Wolf sat in silence for nearly an hour after learning the truth. Then he looked up and said, Captain Rex is out there. He has started to fight back. I can reach him through our old codes. After Wolf reached out, they waited for days. The transmission finally came. Encrypted Old Republic code. A voice. Gruff. Steady. Familiar. This is Captain Rex, it said. We're planning a strike on Mon Cala. If you're ready to fight back, then meet us there. Windu stood, his eyes locked on the starfield ahead. We'll join them. Drop the scenarios you would like to see in the comments, and I will pick one for the next Fan Friday. I hope you enjoyed this video. See you in the next one.